At my daughter's birthday celebration, my nephew snatched her present and yelled, "The computer is mine." Everyone chuckled. When I told him to give it back, my father seized it and smashed it, shouting, "This is punishment for your self-centeredness." My subsequent actions made them realize the gravity of what they had done. Hello, Reddit community. Birthdays should be moments of security, especially for youngsters. They are meant to be the one yearly occasion where a child feels appreciated, honored, and defended. That's why recalling the events at my daughter's party still upsets me deeply. My daughter, Emma, had just reached 9 years old. She is reserved, thoughtful, the type of child who expresses gratitude profusely and considers others' feelings before her own. She had been saving money for months, completing extra household duties, and foregoing treats because her goal was to learn digital illustration. So my spouse and I decided to surprise her. A MacBook, not overly expensive, not extravagant, but a meaningful item that was exclusively hers. When Emma opened the container, her eyes widened. "Is this really for me?" she murmured. I smiled. "Entirely yours, sweetie." She hugged the box tightly, as if afraid it might vanish. "I am going to look after it so well," she said softly. My heart swelled with emotion. That instant, that expression on her face, was worth every cent. Or at least it should have been. Before Emma could even shut the lid, my nephew, Josh, lunged forward. He is 11, boisterous, accustomed to getting whatever he desired. He violently pulled the laptop from her grasp, ripped open the remaining wrapping, and shouted, "The MacBook belongs to me." The entire area erupted in giggles. Genuine merriment. Oh, kids. Boys being boys. He's just enthusiastic. Emma froze. Her hands hung suspended in the air, seemingly unsure of what to do next. That's mine," she stated quietly. Josh paid her no mind. "I wanted one of these," he said, already hitting keys. I stood up. "Josh," I stated firmly, "return it immediately." My sister waved her hand dismissively. "Calm down. He's only fooling around." "No," I countered. He took it from her. "It is her present." Josh gave a smug look. "She doesn't even need it." That's when I moved closer. "Give it back to her." Before Josh could react, my father rose. And I honestly felt like time stopped. My dad walked over, snatched the MacBook from Josh, and slammed it onto the floor. Once. Twice. The sound was brutal. Plastic fractured. Metal bent. The display shattered into a network of cracks. Emma screamed. I screamed. My father stood there, breathing heavily, and bellowed, "This is what you receive for being selfish." The garden fell silent. My daughter collapsed into agonizing weeping, clinging to the fragmented pieces as if she could somehow mend them. "I didn't do anything wrong," she cried. "I just wanted my present." I dropped to my knees beside her, my hands trembling uncontrollably. My mother broke the uncomfortable quiet. "Well, maybe this will instruct her not to be greedy." "Greedy?" My sister shrugged. "It's merely a computer. She'll recover." Josh looked disappointed, not remorseful, just upset that the item was damaged. My father crossed his arms. "She needs to learn about sharing. You're raising her improperly." Something inside me snapped, not with noise or aggression, but with cold certainty. I picked up the ruined MacBook and held it. Then I stood up. "You have just demolished something I bought," I stated calmly. "And you have degraded my child in front of everyone." My dad scoffed. "Oh, stop it. You can purchase another one." I looked at him. "This is not about the cost." My voice was steady. "This is about teaching a child that her boundaries are meaningless." He laughed. "You're being overly dramatic." That was the limit. The final comment. They believed this situation would simply fade. That I would relax, replace the laptop, and tell Emma that Grandpa didn't mean any harm. They failed to realize that while Emma was crying in my embrace, something essential had shifted within me. Because this was not just about a broken device. It was about a child being robbed, adults finding it amusing, an authority figure misusing power, and family choosing malice over protection. and I was finished pretending that genuine affection meant enduring this mistreatment. I quickly put Emma into the vehicle. We departed the celebration early. No farewells, no explanations, just the noise of the tires on the gravel and my daughter's sobs in the back seat. That evening, I sat by Emma's bed. She asked quietly, "Did I behave badly?" My heart broke again. "No," I replied instantly. "You did nothing wrong." She sniffled. "Then why did Grandpa break it?" I took a deep breath. "Because some grown-ups forget how to be kind." She nodded slowly. "Are we still related?" "Yes," I assured her, kissing her forehead. "But relatives do not have the right to cause you pain." And at that moment I made a commitment, not to argue or yell, but to ensure that every adult who laughed that day would thoroughly grasp what real consequences looked like. Because what I did next wasn't loud, but it was absolute. And by the time my family understood what they had sacrificed, it was irreversible. My next move was quiet, not showy, but it compelled everyone who found humor in the situation to finally confront the repercussions. The night following the party, Emma was restless. She twisted and turned, waking up hourly to check if the broken laptop was still on her bedside table, as if needing proof that it truly happened. At 3 in the morning, she whispered, "Mom, am I a selfish person?" That question truly devastated me. "No," I said immediately, hugging her tight. "You are not selfish. You are hurt." She nodded, her eyes glistening. "Then why did everyone laugh?" I didn't answer right away. The truth was unpleasant. And I knew one thing for sure. If I let this go, Emma would grow up believing that her feelings didn't matter when influential people decided otherwise. I refused to let that happen. The next morning, I did something my family wouldn't expect. I didn't phone. I didn't send a message. I didn't start a fight. I blocked my sister, silenced my parents' notifications, and left the group chat for the family. No explanations, because explanations had never worked before. For years, every boundary I tried to establish was ridiculed, downplayed, or ignored. So this time, I let quietness do the talking. And silence is terrifying to people who rely on easy communication to manipulate you. Then, I opened my computer, not to buy a replacement yet. Instead, I sent an electronic mail to my father. Just one sentence: "You destroyed my possession and caused emotional trauma to my child. Until you accept responsibility, we are withdrawing from contact." No insults, no emotional language, only facts. I attached pictures of the smashed laptop. Then I forwarded the email to my sister and my mother. They read it. I know they did, because the calls started within the hour. My mother left 7 voice messages. "You're exaggerating. He didn't mean it. It was discipline. She'll forget." Then my father sent a text. "This is absurd. I was teaching her a lesson." A lesson? That's what he called publicly embarrassing a child and ruining something important to her. I finally responded. "The only lesson she learned is that adults can harm her, and no one will intervene. That stops now." After that, their manner changed. My sister messaged from a different phone number. "You're making too big a deal of this. You're penalizing everyone." Josh is upset, too. That last part actually made me smirk. Josh was upset because his potential toy was broken. Emma was traumatized because grown-ups laughed while she cried. Those two things are not equivalent. 3 weeks later, my aunt called. "I felt you should know," she whispered. "Your parents are furious. They didn't think you would actually cut off communication." I wasn't surprised. For my family, limits had always been temporary obstacles. They just waited until I surrendered. But this time I stood firm, and it forced them to converse. To genuinely converse. Not about me, but about why Emma's distress was so easily dismissed. My aunt later told me, "No one could justify their actions once you weren't there to absorb the blame." 3 weeks later, my father appeared at my front door alone. No anger, no imposing attitude, just looking his age. He held a container. "I shouldn't have done that," he admitted quietly. "Not to her or to you." Inside the box was a brand new MacBook. "I know this won't fix things," he added quickly, "but I wanted to replace what I ruined." I looked at the box. then at him. "This isn't about the computer," I said. "It never was." He nodded slowly. "I realize it now. I admitted that when Josh took it, I didn't consider her feelings." That was the first genuine thing he had confessed. I took a breath. "She asked me if she was selfish," I told him. "She asked if she was still related to us." His face visibly saddened. I didn't comprehend that. "I know," I replied. "That's the fundamental issue." I accepted the replacement laptop, viewing it not as absolution, but as evidence of accountability. But I made one thing extremely clear. You will not have unsupervised access to my daughter anymore. Not until she feels safe again. He nodded. I understand. And this time I believed him. That night, I gave Emma the new laptop. She touched it gingerly. "You didn't need to," she said. "I know," I replied. "But you deserve possessions that are respected." She hugged me tightly. "Thank you for defending me," she whispered. And in that moment, I knew I had acted correctly, even if it jeopardized relationships. Even if it designated me as the difficult one, because my purpose wasn't to keep adults comfortable. It was to keep my child secure. Things are different now. My family is quieter around us, more careful, less quick to dismiss, not flawless, but altered. And Emma, she is drawing once more, creating again, trusting again. And she understands something vital. When someone hurts her, her perspective matters. That laughter does not undo damage. That love does not demand silence. The day I prioritized my child over maintaining harmony was the day she learned that her feelings deserve protection.